The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees and shares all things new. And I am Nato Agbayani. I'm streaming live from Quezon City. Good evening and welcome to the new channel and also to hashtag para sa Bayan. Good evening. You're still watching hashtag para sa Bayan. Tonight's episode is Innovating Government for Efficiency and Transparency. So, basically, this is going to be just like our series on the barangay and SK elections, coming from my experience siguro with technology over the past more than 20 years or so. So, let me begin by telling you a little about government. So like what we said before, in government, there's three branches, no? So there's the legislative, there's the judiciary, and then there's of course the executive branch of government. So when in the national government or when you talk about national government agencies, you talk of the cabinet, you talk of the departments, and for local governments, you talk of the different departments in the local government. If usually ang LGU is the provincial government, the city or municipal government, and of course the barangay. And maybe modesty aside, we've really served national government. We have consulted for government LGUs like provinces, cities, and municipalities. And now currently, I'm a barangay kagawad here in Teachers Village West, so that's why. Somehow we've been through all the levels of government, and we've seen how much improvement it could really make. So, let's talk about maybe the judiciary first. No, so before, if you were in law school like I was, I spent 2 years in law school in the Faculty of Law in UST, and before we had to study yung mga GR, no, so you had to buy these CDs and you look for the decisions of the Supreme Court or ESCRA, no, yung Supreme Court decisions, and you study them one by one, etc. So and then you make a case digest, sinasabi nila. So for example, the case digest is or the case is 8 pages. You have to read that, and then maybe your professor will ask you to of course recite the next day. So you would make a case digest, so that's kumbaga the summary of the case and the landmark decision that was made based on that case, no? Kasi usually decisions of the Supreme Court or even the lower courts are based on previous cases or tinatawag nating precedents or precedent cases, no? So ibig sabihin, pag merong case na very similar or almost the same as the case at hand, the decision po yung mga korte natin based on the previous cases. Kaya nga, from the case of GR number, ganyan-ganyan. or from the case of under ESCRA, ito Supreme Court rulings and ano, yung mga napag-decide na ng Supreme Court. Yun yung mga ginagawang basis po. Now, before, for you to do that, kumukuha ka na, nung time namin, at least may CD ka, tapos nire-review mo yung cases. Now, it's online. In fact, certain decisions can be, you can just get it no from the website of the Supreme Court. Kung ano yung mga decisions na yon, lalagay mo lang yung GR number or your reference number niya, and then you would get the cases. So this is one case of automation in the judiciary. And in fact, I think the databases now are being consolidated. So sa judiciary may ganyan na po. Sa legislation, ganun din, the cases or the bills filed by the Senate or the House are also available now online. You can go to House of Representatives or Senate, and you can find yung mga bills filed based on their title or based on the House bill number or Senate bill number, SB number. So yun po is just one part of automation in the judiciary and the legislative branches of government. Now, ang medyo critical is what we call yung automation in the executive branch. Why? Because the executive branch means that you will be organizing so much data. For example, you talk about DepEd under, of course, Secretary and Vice President Sara Duterte. You talk about 27 million learners. So, isa-isahin mo yon, no? Kung dati, they make a file na ito si learner A, learner B, tapos may LRN number. So that's the unique number of the student in elementary and also up to senior high school. Then even sa CHED, meron din gano'n, no? There's a reference number, and when you graduate, there's an SO number. What's the importance of these numbers? No, these numbers, it's a unique, tinatawag natin sa tech na unique identifiers. So for example, if you have a PhilHealth number, ikaw lang yon, walang iba. And then if you have an SSS number or a UMID ID number or a license number, ikaw lang yon. So there's nobody else. Wala kang kadouble, walang duplicate yung iyong number. So that's your unique identifier. Now, with the advent of technology, we have now the ability to do biometrics, of course. Ngayon, pwede pa nga yung live, no? You notice it with the private, with the apps like Grab or other apps, no? Or even during the registration of the SIM cards, nakita po natin yung actual live na magpapakita ka, magpe-play ka ng video. Hi, I am Nato Agbayani, for example. Blah, blah, blah. Yung parang proof of life, no? So, ibig sabihin, hindi ka robot, hindi ka AI, or hindi ka somebody else. Now, bakit din nagkaroon ng SIM registration? It's because, di ba, there's a lot of fraud. So, anyway, we will go back to that. And then, that's just the case of DepEd. For example, DOH, in terms of COVID cases, no? Di ba, nagkaroon tayo ng mga parang vaccination IDs. So that's also important because we would know who has been vaccinated, kung nakailang booster shots, or if they have not been vaccinated, kung anti-vaxxer sila, they don't have the ID. But generally speaking, dati, I think there was a time when people had to show their vaccination cards to certain, let's say, kunyari, punta ka sa mall or somewhere, or magta-travel ka, you had to show your cards, your vaccination card. So maraming nangyari itong COVID-19, no? Because somehow COVID-19 also taught the general public how to kumbaga, how to interface with government in a manner that is kumbaga paperless, in a manner that is kumbaga contactless. Dahil nga, yun nga, may COVID-19. So, natuto tayo mag-fill up ng Google Forms. In schools, even in vaccinations, natuto tayo mag-gawa niyan. natuto tayo na matagal na namang ginagawa is yung scheduling. For example, dati, di ba, magpapa-schedule ka for a US visa, you would have to schedule with the US Embassy or a DFA passport, ganon. So eventually, naging pervasive na siya. Natuto yung tao in a way to use technology and to interface with government being contactless. Kasi remember those days when we had to get our birth certificate and pipila ka sa PSA, tapos or you get your Senomar or you get your death certificates, etc., mga certified true copies. And then before, people were also had the ability to mag-falsify ng certain documents, no. This week is blockchain week, no. So yung blockchain is a very, shall we say, ang feeling kasi ng mga tao or ang interpretation nila, yung blockchain is just about crypto, it's just about Bitcoin. But no, it's a combination of tinatawag nilang public ledgers, no, that can be shared by people to verify or authenticate certain documents or certain properties. For example, yung mga diploma sa college, no, that can be authenticated via blockchain. Ibig sabihin, alam natin and then it is duly verified by a community that this, kunyari ako, nag-graduate sa UST ng ganitong date, blah, 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 blah. If you use the blockchain technology, we would know that this is an authentic diploma and that diploma was issued at this date, and then the registry is verified by a body, no, na alam natin na hindi madadaya. So ganun din. That's why nagkaroon ng crypto as well. I'm not an expert. There are far better experts. I'm just speaking from experience. I'm just saying na syempre yung cryptocurrencies can be verified. Sabihin, other than sanay tayo, may dollars, may yen, may different types of denominations or currencies or peso. But this time with crypto currencies, we can actually verify without yung mga gold backing or what, no, or yung mga reserve notes or Federal Reserve notes. Malalaman natin na yung perang yun nag-exist and it can be transacted. In fact, a lot of governments in the world are now kumbaga dealing with cryptocurrencies, no. Hindi lang openly, but some are really legalizing crypto, no, kasi it let's face it, it's going to be the wave of the future. And then it's verifiable, so alam mo yun, hindi siya mapepeke, unlike, let's say for example, dati may namemeke ng mga dollars even or even pesos. Ngayon you cannot fake it, di ba? So given those things, no, isa lang yun doon sa mga pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno. So nasabi ko kanina yung Department of Education, and then nasabi ko rin yung Department of Health. What other departments can we use technology, no, in and make it more efficient? So ang topic po natin ngayon is Innovating Government for Efficiency and Transparency. So isang masasabi nating perceived to be corruption riddled is the customs, no, or even maybe in some cases other agencies of government like LTO or iba't ibang agencies, no. Now, how do you make that transparent? Of course, one of the ways is really to use blockchain technology, so you can have verifiable documentations. Now, in one particular case, during the Block Awards, nag-award tayo sa isang group na gumawa ng blockchain o ginamit ang blockchain technology to help DBM, Department of Budget and Management, to do what we call yung SARO, or yun yung allocation ng funds for a specific project of private contractors, no. So minsan kasi na-fake yan, and then pag na-fake siya, of course, akala nung tao may saro na or ano din. Yeah. So may mga ganong cases na fake siya. Now, in the first 15 minutes, binigyan ko lang po kayo ng purview or overview. Ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin sa government? But let me begin with the very basic. No? Siguro one is, of course, is in government, let's talk about the barangays. No? Sa barangays, you have people asking for barangay clearances. You have people asking for proofs of indigency or proofs of residency or certificate of residency, yung mga ganyan po. No? So even in the barangay, we can really help create conditions where we can use technology to really kumbaga ramp up yung ating services no sa gobyerno. So for example sa barangay, ngayon kami gumagamit na rin kami ng Google Forms. For example, merong vaccination ng mga aso at pusa or let's say merong anti-flu vaccine na available, gumagamit na rin po tayo ng Google Form. Since kunyari ang allotment is if it's a private donation, kunyari 200 lang, we will do a Google Form for the first 200 people who would like to avail of the anti-flu vaccine. So ganun po. Now, ang output noon, syempre alam naman natin sa Google Form meron tayong database of people who would want to get that vaccine. And kung i-aggregate natin to over time, ma-organize natin yung of course our residents not for political purposes but really for delivering public service. Alam natin kunyari sa mga barangays na merong mga informal settler families, yung mapping na ginagawa for example ng 4Ps para sila ay mabigyan kasi sinasabi maraming bashers ang gobyerno, mga kaibigan. So at the end of the day, if we have efficiency and transparency, yung mga magagaling na kapitan at mga magagaling na kagawad talaga makapagbibigay po ng serbisyo sa bayan. Kasi magiging more efficient and more transparent. Sinasabi na, hindi kasi kamag-anak ni kagawad yan, ni kagawad Nato, kaya nabigyan ng ayuda. First of all, siguro gusto ko lang din magkaroon ng siguro perspective dyan. Paano mo ba malalaman kung ano yung kailangan ng isang barangay? Or kunyari, the likes of Tatalon or Barangay Payatas or Barangay Central or even in the different cities, no, yung sa Caloocan, yung Bagong Baryo. How do you know what you should give or what service should you provide to them? No? Importante is, of course, creating a baseline. Ano po ba yung baseline? Parang ganito lang po. Ano ba ang kailangan ng constituents ko sa aking barangay? Ano ba ang mga problema nila o suliranin nila na dapat naming i-address? Batay sa limited na budget namin. Kunyari po, ang budget ng isang barangay is 50 million. So, pero ang population niya is about 20,000. Paano mo ngayon gagamitin ang resources ng gobyerno or ng barangay para po maserbisyohan silang lahat? Or at least yung mga nangangailangan ng tulong, no? Or yung higit na nangangailangan ng tulong. Remember, we always ang taxpayers po nagbabayad ng pera para din ang most of the income of a barangay or a city or a municipality galing din po sa real property taxes. So dapat lang po paglingkuran natin ang bawat isa sa in a way na masasabi nating equitable. Kasi parang ang nangyayari po, the rich or the middle class pay for the ayuda or the services that are given to the poor. Mahaba pong usapin yan, pero sa ngayon po hindi muna natin pag-uusapan. Pag-usapan po muna natin yung technology na dapat gamitin. Siguro, sa palagay ko, isang very basic is, naalala ko may isang agency ng gobyerno, sabi ko, paano nyo ba din-determine kung anong programs ang binibigay nyo sa taong bayan? Or kunyari sa mga persons with disabilities or sa mga solo parents or sa mga seniors or sa mga informal settler families. Siyempre, hindi po yan dapat look to the sky. Ibig sabihin, teka, dapat ganito programa kasi feeling namin ganito kailangan yun. Hindi po natin pwedeng patakbuhin ng pamahalaan ng by feeling. So therefore, we need a baseline. So kailangan po natin i-research or alamin or i-survey or yung tinatawag nilang pag-create ng baseline survey or needs analysis sa isa pong barangay. Halimbawa, Barangay Payatas, ilan po ba ang informal settler families dyan? Kung may budget sila ng 90 million a year or annual budget nila, na kadalasan kalahati po niya napupunta of course sa personnel. Ganoon naman sa gobyerno, halos kalahati po napupunta sa personnel. So ang programs mo and projects parang 60 or 50 to 60%. And then merong mga mandatory budgets like 5% goes to the Gender and Development Fund, 1% goes to the PWDs, 1% goes to the seniors, at iba pa. So marami pa po. Ang kailangan po siguro sa palagay ko is magkaroon tayo ng malalimang pagsasaliksik kung ano po ba yung mga kailangan. For example, lumalabas sa survey natin na mataas ang maternal mortality o yung namamatay yung mga mothers pagkapanganak namamatay or malaki ang presence ng malnutrition o marami sa barangay ang walang trabaho or X% sa barangay ang walang trabaho. Mataas ang teenage pregnancy rate. Mataas ang pagsasama-samahin na, mataas ang sales ng alcohol at ng sigarilyo. At ang mga tao, ang pastime nila ay mag-tong-eat. Yan. So yan po mga realidad dyan sa community. So kailangan alamin natin bilang mga barangay officials or bilang government officials kung ano yung mga dapat gawin or ano yung mga dapat tutukan. So kung mataas ang malnutrition, kailangan po meron tayong food and food security program na kasi ganun po 'yon, di ba? Pagka ikaw pumunta sa doktor, pagka ikaw pumunta sa doktor, titignan ko ano yung mga sakit mo, papa-analyze ka, urinalysis, fecalysis, x-ray, complete blood count, at kung ano pa. Bakit? Para po magkaroon ng baseline, para maalaman kung anong diagnosis, anong sakit mo, para po maresetahan. Ganon din po ang gobyerno. Dapat klaro kung ano yung sakit ng lipunan, yun po ang gagamutin. At hihigatan pa. So ganon din po. That is the use of technology in present day. So it's the same thing. Barangays make up the basic unit. Actually, families and individuals make up the basic unit of society, and then of course there's the barangay, and then there's the municipality or city. Katulad po sa Maynila, meron silang 897 barangays. Dito po sa Quezon City, meron po tayong 142 barangays. In the entire NCR, we have about 1,700 barangays. So yun po, ano po yung mga problema? Aalamin natin. And then what technology can we use? Sabi dun sa blockchain event, sabi niya, akala namin, mga pioneers po ito, blockchain came to the Philippines about mid-2000s, around 2010, 2011, 2012. At sabi nila, I think blockchain will take over or will overtake government. Pero ang realization, based po doon sa mga na-award natin sa blockchain, sa Block Awards, marami po doon ang projects na nakatutok sa pagtulong sa pamahalaan natin, no? Paano sila magiging mas efficient, paano magiging mas transparent. Dahil yun po talaga ang sagot tingin ko sa corruption. It's really, corruption mahirap po talagang labanan yan because it is systemic and isa po sa pinakamalaking may resources is in government. No? In fact, kunyari po mag-pass tayo ng 5 trillion budget, kalahati po niya napupunta sa executive or sa Office of the President and the cabinets. So makikita natin yan talagang napakalaking resources ng government. But if government does not use the resource in a proper way, mahihirapan po tayo. Katulad sa PNP, for example. Tama ba o wasto ba na habang dumadami o lumalaki ang populasyon ng Pilipinas, dagdag tayo ng dagdag ng pulis, dagdag tayo ng dagdag ng militar? Well, in best practices, nagkwentuhan kami before ni Chief PNP Benjamin Acorda, sabi niya, yung mga best practices sa mundo, it's not actually ganon, na kailangan yung ratio is X number to X number, no? It's really making the police force more efficient to address crimes or criminality. Kaya malaking emphasis ngayon ng ating PNP is really cybercrime. Because lumaki na rin siya. Lumaki na rin siyang source ng income for criminal syndicates. So drugs, gambling, and then yan. Yung cyber crimes na very very pervasive na ngayon, no? Marami tayong kakilala actually mga naging biktima na niyan, no? Some operating out of well, not to be biased about any country, but we have identified na some operating from Nigeria, some operating from different other countries, some operating from here at meron sila mga kasapakat dito. And it's becoming a $1 million industry, almost competing with drugs, no, or narco, which is about $1 trillion industry po yan. Anyway, we will talk about that in another show dahil napakahaba pong usapin yan. Anyway, ganito po. Dito po sa hashtag para sa bayan, we don't want to lambast government because I think they're already having a hard time. Ang kailangan po dito siguro suportahan natin yung the good people in government and the good programs of government because we want affirmative change. Now, if we think na ano ba yan, baguhin natin ng gobyerno dahil palpak, dahil ganyan, merong constitutional crisis, marami pong opinions dyan. Pero ang akin, it is clear to me that here in hashtag para sa bayan, we should really help our country, help our officials, especially those na hindi corrupt, especially those na magagaling na mga mayors, governors, and even barangay chairman na talagang nag-i-innovate, no? Tulungan natin sila with technology. Ano ba yung mga pwede nating ibigay sa kanilang tools para higit na makaalagwa sila sa kanilang ginagawa bilang mga government officials. Marami po in our career service na very sincere people. Marami rin po tayong mga kagawad at SK officials, no? Even as young as SK officials na magagaling at they have vision for this country and tulungan po natin sila. Yan po ang role din ng hashtag para sa bayan dito po sa The New Channel. Sabi nga, we want to see and share everything new, no? So technology is one of them. Ako personally, I've been delving with technology since the 90s as a telco person, and then ito po iba't ibang industriya na ang pinasok natin sa tech world, no? And the latest of course is mentoring and helping startups with their apps and also with their concepts para po matulungan natin talaga na magamit tong mga teknolohiya para sa higit na ikauunlad ng mga tao at ng ating bansa. Napakarami na po nating problema. Individually, our young people have so many problems, and yet our young people constitute, ang mean age po natin ngayon is na 25, no? So, kailangan po is we really help them overcome itong mga problems of the country, itong bigas, itong issue ng iba't ibang ito taal, yung mga iba't ibang challenges of peace. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will just go into a very short break, and then after this short break, we will go down into some more details about governance and using technology, yung iba't iba pong technologies na available sa atin para po maintindihan natin paano natin magagamit itong teknolohiya para sa pagpapanday ng isang bansang moderno, makabago at competitive po sa buong mundo. So, magbe-break lang po tayo panandalian, and then I will see you later. Hello, you're still watching hashtag para sa Bayan here on the new channel. Don't forget to watch all our other shows here on TNC. The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on the screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, original content. Our channel is a responsible global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and integrity. Siyempre, huwag niyo pong kalimutan na to watch uh, every Saturday, hashtag para sa bayan, Saturdays at 9 p.m. Follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNCNow. Of course, we're also on Facebook and YouTube. Now, for sponsorships, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send a DM. Enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them all for you. Yeah, no? So, now we're back. Okay. Again, this is kanina. This is an episode on innovating government for efficiency and transparency. So kanina we discussed a little about, of course, the branches of government and how we're already using technology, and but basically they are using it in terms of using databases, gathering data, doing baseline. But of course, there are higher technologies. There's AI and machine learning, of course, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Ang tinatawag nating parang intuitive or predictive technologies. No? So right now, even on your phones, for example, you can do an AI kung kailangan mo ng picture, kailangan mo ng background, gusto mo mapunta sa Italy or sa Naples or wherever in the world, kailangan mo ng background, pwede mong gamitin AI. And then machine learning, tinatawag natin, ngayon nakakapag-chat ka na, di ba? Before they were just called chatbots, no? Sa mga there's a particular algorithm, tapos kung may tanong ka, sasagutin ka. So even government can start using that. For example, in getting permits, no, for PhilJeps or getting permits for getting a DTI permit, no, pwede nang gamitin yan. I mean, we can already start using that even for communications to the Office of the President or DepEd, yung mga basic questions. You can use chatbots, and then eventually yung databases that we have already. Kasi ganon, parang ang nangyayari, we're looking at, for example, with the PNP, padami tayo ng padami ng police kasi padami ng padami ng population. Yung emphasis ni Chief PNP, parang sinasabi niya, we can benchmark on technology of other countries, for example, Singapore, na or even London, na talagang super dami ng mga CCTV cameras, the technologies, the reporting systems are already very efficient that you don't need so many policemen. No? I think in Quezon City, they're also experimenting yung ang nangyayari, if you call the 122 or the hotline of Quezon City and you need the policeman, they will be there in I have not tried this, but of course, from feedback, parang in less than 5 minutes or 3 minutes, ando na sila. Because the deployment of the police force, hindi lang siya nasa stasyon. So, andun sila sa communities where siguro ma-identify natin as hotspots. But you can also use that for now trying to get incident reports na verifiable. Yung DICT natin, of course, launch yung eGov. Part of that eGov, there's different services that you can avail of. No? Yan yung isang way that we can really interface with government and use technology for efficiency. Also, I'm in particular involved with the digital tax maps. No, we have that technology where you can actually digitize the real properties in any municipality or any city, for that matter, uh, consistent with your land use plan. No? Siyempre, ang mga munisipyo po or ang mga city, probinsya, meron niyang land use plan. Ngayon, part ng expense ng gobyerno is to digitize. I think it's already a law na you have to digitize your records in terms of real property para madali kang makasingil. In fact, if you spend on that, you will get an ROI dahil yun nga po, merong billing yan eh. Your tax collection will become more efficient by X%. Okay. One more. Yung earlier on in my career, for example, we made a version of the electronic medical system or EMR, electronic medical records, that was patterned after the US. Kasi sa US, you have the HIPAA law where your medical records need to be digitized. Why? Kasi kung kunyari, na-aksidente ka dito and then you're not from this place, let's say for example, you are from Butuan, you're na-aksidente ka sa Manila, para may yung medical records mo, meron siyang universal, may access yung doktor na magti-treat sa'yo, which is logical, di ba? Kasi if they do not have a medical history, mamaya saksakan ka ng gamot na you're allergic to. So, isa rin yun. And we have so many barangay health centers. Imagine if all those people who are sick, who are under medication, who are under the OTS medication for pneumonia or for TB, lahat meron tayo nun sa barangay. And then it's to a point centralized. Imagine the savings of government in terms of also yung kung pa-purchase ng medicines ang isang LGU, kunyari Quezon City or Cebu City, magpa-purchase siya ng medicines, alam na niya. Yung sinasabi ko kanina na may baseline ka. Because from the database of the barangay health centers, you would have an entire, kumbaga, you have an overview of the entirety of the problem or of the challenge. So alam mo, ilan yung mga seniors na kailangan ng maintenance meds, ilan yung kabataan na malnourished, yung kailangan ng supplemental feeding. Hindi yung, sorry po ha, meron tayong mga politiko na nagpapakain, nag-feeding para lang para lang for picture, for Facebook purposes, no. Yun po ma-avoid natin. We become more efficient. We use the budget or the resources of government in a much better way, no? So yun, pinag-usapan natin yung enforcement ng police, pinag-usapan natin yung health situation which is really very important to the country. Yung 4Ps, yung 4Ps mapping, nagma-map na yung DSWD, di ba? Na ito yung pinaka-poorest of the poor. Imagine if you have that database, so you would know which people really need the help and the resources of government. Now, kung digital naman yung tax maps mo, and you know how to use, may term dati yung guest natin, si Attorney Bobby Leretana, about it's an asset, lupa or land is an asset, and it is a thing of value. Therefore, if you know the value of your entire municipality or the value of your entire city or even your barangay, imagine how a mayor, a barangay chairman, or even a governor can really optimize yung resources ng isang province or ng isang munisipyo or ng isang barangay even. Kasi there are some barangays that are really large in terms of land area. So imagine mo yun, napakagandang, ang laking savings sa pamahalaan. And then you will be able to direct yung gastos ng pamahalaan sa dapat pagkagastusan, hindi yung mga whims or kasi si contractor, kasi may X% ako kay contractor, no? So, that's a reality. I mean, it's happening even in the barangays, even with the SKs. There are contractors giving influence na ito gawin mong project kasi okay to. Meron tayo dyan. So, this is of course, we frown on this. We would want na there are projects that are really mapunta talaga dun sa mga pangangailangan ng tao. For example, itong isa is also for cats and dogs. Yung pong multiplication ng cats, mapapansin nyo po is grabe exponential po yan. So there's a need to control the population of cats and dogs para po hindi kumalat yung rabies. Because pag kumalat po yung rabies, tumataas po ang cost ng gobyerno para alagaan yung mga taong may rabies, lalo na sa public hospitals. So, therefore, kailangan din po natin i-control yung population ng cats and dogs by spaying or neutering them. And also giving an anti-rabies medicines. Ngayon, paano po natin gagawin yan kung hindi tama yung ating planning and budgeting? So, technology really plays a very big role. Ito po mga basic technology pa lang po pinag-uusapan natin, hindi pa yung AI, machine learning, yung mga intuitive, predictive technologies na pwede pong gamitin. For example, ito na lang, simple scheduling. So kung meron po tayong scheduler sa barangay, o gusto ko may schedule na ganito para kumuha ko ng barangay clearance or gusto ko mag-file ng case. Imagine if all these were automated. Yun lang pong automation ng barangay natin. Napakalaking bagay. If you're able to automate 42,000 barangays, tapos meron pong next generation dyan, natuturuan natin mga kabataan na marunong sa teknolohiya, maybe the government would save 1 trillion pesos. I am not sure. Pero ang laki pong savings ng gobyerno natin. At yung savings na yun, pwede natin gamitin sa higit na mga mahalagang infrastructure. For example, farm-to-market roads, or rails, or yung mga tinatawag nating secondary and tertiary hospitals, or even providing doctors to the barrios. So we really envision a country na modern po, no? I mean, thank you for the Blockchain Week kasi marami pong the cooperation between the DICT and the organizers of blockchain. Kudos kila of course kila Donald Lim and the team, no? You're too many pioneers dan sa blockchain community natin, no? Pero also in terms of yung mga ID system, in terms of identifying people to serve and what their needs are, lahat po yun mabubuo natin if we use technology, no? Yun lang database, for example sa health. Of course it can be used for political purposes, pero ang point po dito is if there are well-meaning people in government and well-meaning people in the barangay, the LGUs, and even the national government agencies, napakalaki po nung kaya natin gawin. And I think it's high time na this country modernizes in many ways, no. We have the capacity to do it, no. Siguro yung advantage natin over different countries. Tayo po, we have a 110 million population, even growing. Despite all our problems, we have a young population and employable po yan. We just need to upskill them. Kasi sa totoo lang po, with AI and machine learning, a lot of jobs in the next 5 years magiging obsolete po. They're saying even accountants na syempre it's computing, it's repetitive. Yung mga repetitive jobs baka ma-replace, no? So we need to focus on the higher jobs. Hindi na po pwede yung yung mga so jobs po. We really need to upskill in a major way. I think there's a story about that Taiwan, no. A few years back they said in 10 years we will be the number one technology producing country well, they would be the one of the top, sabi nila. So in 10 years they did everything they could in that small country to really become the top tech country in the world, no. So milya na po yung na-gain nila. Korea, for example, is one of the richest countries because of yung tinatawag nilang creative industry. Yung creative industry po, sorry sa mga medyo mga may edad na, pag nakikita po natin yung mga anak natin nagvi-video games, akala natin it's nothing, no? Pero sa totoo lang po, this creative industry has created so much resources for Korea. even yung part ng mga yung mga K-pop groups, no, uh, sobrang laki na po yung contribution niya sa economy nila. I think ano ba yun? Yung BTS lang daw po yung isang band na boy band, no. Yung BTS lang alone, yung kita nila is equivalent to one country's GDP. So imagine nyo po yun, if our young people are able to be part of that creative industry, creating games, doing animation, doing tech, um, yung mga subsidiary na kailangan sa creation, sa machine learning and AI, marami po tayong magagawa eh. Marami pong magagawa, lalo na sa pamahalaan. And then of course, if government is transparent and efficient, posible po. I'm not saying it will be eradicated in total. Posible po na mabawasan ang corruption sa pamahalaan, which is at this point medyo grabe na rin po. So we really need to look to technology to arrest this problem. Otherwise, we will have a country that's ridden by corruption, and sabi nga nila, without vision, the people perish. So we have to have a vision for our country using technology. Yung technology po, huwag tayo matakot, no. Uh, hindi yan Terminator or Matrix. But it can be. That's a possibility. But of course, sinasabi natin, we can use technology currently at this stage to really create apps or efficiencies in government. And yung efficiencies na yan ang medyo unti-unting papatay dun sa corruption. Corruption kasi pagka po nakatago ang mga bagay-bagay, nangyayari yan. Pagka hindi transparent sa lahat, nangyayari yan. Kaya po we have yung PhilJeps, di ba, for example. So, para makita mo kung sino yung mga contractors or bidders for a particular project. Although you can say that there's no under the table or there's no mga pre-negotiations, still nakakatulong po yan to reduce the corruption in government. So, we're down to our last 10 minutes here on the show. And I just like to say na maybe we'd like to call on everybody in government, especially we'd like to thank DICT for all its efforts, and even DOST, part of the technology, of course, yung medyo higher technologies ng DOST, yung mga satellites that we send out to space. Alam niyo po ba yun? Nagsisend out tayo ng mga satellites sa outer space. Yan po nakakatulong sa ating agriculture, sa ating mapping sa buong Pilipinas, also in different applications, even weather. No? So we want to go that direction. We want to be a modern Philippines. Dito po sa hashtag para sa bayan, we want to have everybody help in this endeavor. And hopefully, in the next few years, maybe in the next 5 years, sinasabi nga ni President BBM, we want to make this digitalization of the Philippines very rapid. Bakit po? Kasi if we digitize, or for example, our tax maps in the LGUs, napakalaking bagay po. Tataas po ang income. Tataas po ang income ng mga LGUs natin. At pag tumaas ang income, if we have really good mayors and if we really have good provincial governors, hindi lang po tataas ang income, gagandang ekonomiya, magkakaroon ng better exchanges in that particular locality, and we will really have makakaparticipate po yung mga taong bayan dito sa ating economic exchanges. Then, of course, I'd like to go back to education. Napakalaking role po ng education, whether that is with DepEd, with TESDA in terms of skills, and also with CHED sa higher education. No? Napakalaki po ng role ng technology. That's why there are special courses now on machine learning, AI, and I think we should not fear it, but we should approach it with an open mind, and also an attempt to really collectively bilang isang bansa po, no, magkaroon tayo ng vision for technology, hindi lang po kasi sinasabi isang critical is yung ambition 2040, or even sa MDGs or SDGs na i-end ng poverty by 2030. there is physical poverty, pero meron din pong tinatawag nating poverty of the mind, where yung technology haves and technology have-nots. Di ba dati pagka ano, the haves and the have-nots. Ito po meron yung technology haves and technology have-nots. So yung mga wala pong alam sa teknolohiya, wala pong karunungan dito, maiiwan po talaga sila. And we do not want anybody to be left behind. And again, we have a very young population. Potentially, this country can go where we want to go and be competitive around the world. So, yun lang po ang masasabi ko. Thank you for joining us on the show on Innovating Government for Efficiency and Transparency. I hope next episode we will have very special guests naman po. And I hope you keep watching hashtag para sa bayan dahil ito po ay really we want affirmative change for our young people, for the different sectors of society, especially those that are marginalized and of course those that are vulnerable. So we want to create safe spaces. This is part of that safe space. We want to be that safe space for you here on TNC, where you can watch, of course, shows that we've created for you that's really very enriching and affirmative. No? At the end of the day, napakarami pong content sa mundo, pero we want to come out with content that really is for the good of everyone and for the good of society and even the country. So, yun po ang huling habilin ni Kuya Nato or would be really let's push for technology, yung po mga tumatakbong barangay officials, let's push for technology in the barangay. Let's start from there, and then in 2025 let's push for candidates na talagang makakatulong po sa pag-unlad ng bansa through technology by introducing efficiencies and transparency. Huwag na po natin iboto yung mga taong hindi makakatulong at walang value maibibigay para sa bayan po. Also, in the schools and in the academe, even in the church, gawin po nating embrace po natin itong technology and let's make full use of it for the benefit of our faith-based organizations, of our own organizations, and even the entire country, even our own families. So with that po, we end tonight's show. This has been your host, Nato Agbayani, here on hashtag para sa bayan. Maraming salamat po. And all I can say is God bless you and keep you and make His face shine upon you. So thank you po for watching hashtag para sa bayan here on the new channel. Bye. God bless you and good night.